people that you go and look up the BICOM publication that I mentioned, because we've actually just sort of had an edited selection of highlights from it. Now, from the person who was waving it around and then asked this question, I mean, there's different ways that you can answer this. Number one, there were African American black members of Congress. Excuse me. I didn't interrupt you, even though I knew what was coming. Number one, there were black African American Congress members in 19th century America. Did that mean there was no Jim Crow or segregation? No. So this constant parading of token Israeli Arabs as saying, look, aren't we amazing and generous and you know, liberal and democratic because we have a chef and a pop singer and members of the Knesset, completely misses the point. Because the way that the Israeli law works, and I gave you some insights into it already, is that in key areas of land, housing, education, citizenship and access rights, there is institutionalized discrimination targeting the Palestinian minority. You can shake your head, but that's true. But obviously it's much easier just to simply say there's an Israeli Arab in the Knesset. Actually, just about that question, yes, there are Palestinian citizens who are members of the Israeli Knesset, but, for example, Knesset law means that it's not permissible for a bill to be tabled if it denies Israel as a Jewish state. Okay? When there are Palestinian members of Knesset who speak up for their community and the way in which they're oppressed, they themselves are targeted in ways that we saw, for example, with Hanin Za'abi. Okay? So again, if you want to sort of keep the, if you want to make the focus on how the minority is treated in the Knesset, you know, Israel doesn't exactly come out smelling of roses either. The question on boycott. Now, actually, I'm going to do all the Israel lobbyists in this room a favor. Okay? You don't understand BDS, all right? Like, so many of your memes and talking points are based on a fundamental misunderstanding of BDS. BDS is a strategy designed to apply pressure and make sure that Israel is isolated, as is increasingly becoming the case. Get this on the blog, Richard, okay? People are going to appreciate it. It's not about a sort of personal purity test, right? Individuals make their own decisions as consumers about what not to buy or buy based on different factors. But what BDS is about is people coming together in targeted campaigns, which is what we've seen happen. Okay, that's where Veolia and Ahava and G4S and other cases have been the target of sustained campaigns, which have had this effect. Okay, so for example, settlers in the Jordan Valley have already had their profits hit by boycotts, etc., etc. So the point isn't, as Israel advocates think, is this sort of amazing argument defeater, oh, there is a chip in this computer. No, the point of BDS is actually a strategy that draws from a rich historical tradition of non-violent resistance against oppressive policies, with campaigns that target in ways where that person carrying out that oppression is vulnerable. Okay, and we've seen that happen in Martin Luther King, in apartheid South Africa, and also now we're seeing it happen in the case of apartheid Israel. Third question about Mahmoud Abbas. Again, this was also in the BICOM report. So he condemned BDS. Now actually, that was a report in a South African newspaper, and subsequent to that, which Alan Johnson unfortunately missed out, the Palestinian embassy in South Africa then published a statement clarifying the fact that actually Abbas and the PA support the initiatives of boycott and divestment strategies that are being taken on by people around the world. There is a lot one could say of criticism of Abbas, incidentally, but that wouldn't necessarily be it. He also said, your point was that he was saying that, your point was saying that there'll be no Jews in a future state of Palestine. I think that was what you were saying. Now, I oppose that idea because actually I believe in one single democratic state where there isn't a basis of ethnic separation and division, because I actually find that idea unpleasant, as it's clear you do as well. So I support the idea that in fact Jews and Palestinians should have equal rights and be living in that one area without this sort of horrible idea of dividing along ethnic or religious basis.